Welcome to another episode of Breaking Bank. This is your host, Jack McCaig. Check us out on libertyaid.org. Contact at libertyaid.org if you'd like to email in any questions. And we're going to do a question today. Thank you for writing in. I appreciate it. Linda. I'm going to do just part of her email here is really relevant to everyone. Here we go. Is it written anywhere that they must show both the original note and mortgage, or is the judge correct in his judgment today? The judge is saying that they don't need an original. So, obviously, all debt instruments, if you look up United States Code or UCC, I get these mixed up, but there's one on validation. There's a Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and it says every debt must be validated within 30 days. Then you go look up what validation means in the United States Code, because FDCPA is part of the United States Code. You go look up what validation means. It says every debt instrument must be validated. Then you gotta go look up debt instrument, and you find out what a debt instrument is. And that's basically everything to do with finances. It has to be in original form. It must be validated. It must be original. This is obvious at all times to every human, and this question never needs to be asked, but it's one of the most asked questions I've ever received ever. When you go to Walmart, you use an "In God We Trust" promissory note issued by the Federal Reserve. Many people colloquially call them dollars. Okay, that's a note. It has to be in original form, just like all notes. So when a judge says, oh, there's no law that says a note has to be original, that's excellent. That's the best news ever, because then you can say, great, I will pay your copy with copies of dollars, since copies of dollars are okay in the courtroom. Or what I've done myself is say, okay, I'm going to get a, I think it was $400, $800, some $100 postal money order, and I just went down to a copy machine and made enough copies, like I paid off the truck with that I got, and I legally paid it off. They said, hey, you don't need an original. I said, that's great. Here are copies of your payment then. And so, see, it's a logical fallacy, not just the laws. They try and hide the laws and stuff, but it's like, great. You accept, at that moment, in court, fantastic copies are great of anything that's a new law you made up in the courtroom, and fantastic, here's a give them $1 bill, like, just make as many copies as you want. Thank you so much, we're done. Hey, that was easy, thank you so much. You see, it's a complete lie on all levels, and you have to use logic sometime, not laws. In fact, laws are just, they're in place for the people that run the system to ruin everyone else's lives. That's what laws are for, and they're never followed in court. If you can see that by your question, not ever. So I can't seem to get this clear to people. No one will ever win in court. No one ever has won in court. No human has ever won a court case, ever. It's never happened, not ever in the history of humans. Okay, no, it hasn't. You can't prove it to me. So that hasn't happened. So what can you do? What is my work about? It's about forcing them to settle in your favor. You expose things in court they don't want exposed. Okay? That's when you force them not to have a court case go your way, because there are many court cases. You can have many enforcement mechanisms on and on about how to force them and expose them. Okay, many methods. But in court, if they go for the, hey, that's fine, go back with fine, we'll do copies then. You see, it's you wait to see how they're gonna lie, because they only lie. It's their religion to lie. They've never told the truth. A judge has never told the truth. A lawyer has never told the truth. It's against their religion. Okay, they're religious Satanists. They lie to get their license. They lie to get everything. All they do is lie. Their life is one big lie. Every single lawyer, every single judge, every policeman, every government employee, every single one, for their entire life, they are religious liars. You have to accept that. Okay, all their actions prove it, and yet you can't go by their actions. I mean, get real. Okay, so what can we do? We threaten their revenue stream. That's their job. If it's a lawyer, you threaten their, their bar card, etc. Their whatever position they have. That's their license makes it so they can make money. So you take their license. You see. So that's the first thing. Their revenue, by taking their license, their revenue goes away. Okay, and they're run by fear. Otherwise, they wouldn't be the perfect lying slaves. So they love that license. They love it. They love to be religious liars. Their religion. So you threaten that, and then they're willing to talk and settle. Or you threaten their assets, right? You put the right piece of paper down to cloud their title on their assets, whoever is doing this to you, or related entities, and then suddenly they want to talk to you because what? Now they have a mortgage or similar, on their asset, and they can't remove it unless you remove it. Turnabout is fair play. You simply, because they didn't validate the debt, right? Now everything falls on them. They owe the person. So you go after their revenue and their assets. It's that simple, okay? People go into court thinking something good is going to happen in court. No, you pray to God, and then God renders them mute, or gives them a seizure or something like that. You make their courtroom a mockery. Okay, God makes it a mockery with your prayers. All right, that's what court is for, just to show them that you have no fear, and you notify them that, and you're going to go after their license, what the money they make, things that they have. You just going up to their face and say, hey, I'm going to take everything you have. What? And you're not going to stop me, because I got to trust. Nothing's going to blow back to you, you see? Once you have that trust, what? You can come at the person. I don't have a bank account for my person. I don't take income to my person. I don't hold assets in my person. I don't do that. So what can you do? Nothing. In fact, I'm suing you for free. I mean, there's nothing that can happen to anyone, not ever, for suing banks and going after these debts. Every debt by every bank is collected illegally. Every single one since the beginning of banking, from the inception of banking. Every single debt is collected illegally. Every one. Don't ask me which one is collected illegally. All of them. Okay, and if you're not doing anything about this, you're the perfect slave of the bankers, okay? Which are religious liars who are they lying for their god, Satan. So basically, you're a slave of Satan. If you're paying all your everything back to the bankers, right? You're not doing what Jesus said to do. And go beat the bankers, turn the money tables. No, you are a perfect slave of Satan, okay? Perfect. Everyone who does that. I mean, sometimes you got to pay their bills and stuff to monkey around with the system and hack it totally to get more money from them. There's a reason to, pay on these loans and so on. My methods are in place to get you more money, to maximize the amount of money you can get from banks and government. See, they're stealing every single thing that everyone owns all day, every day. That's all they're in place for. So if you just, try and stop what they're stealing, even, maybe you can live your life and have some level of prosperity. But, and you have to use my work to back them off, because once they see you have some prosperity, right, a home with some money and so on, what are they going to do? They're going to steal it. It doesn't matter if you pay all your mortgage payments. I've heard from plenty of people paid all their mortgage payments and went to foreclosure and had their house stolen. They don't care that you paid your bills, that you didn't pay your bills. They just don't care. They prefer if you pay your bills and are a perfect slave, right, and don't have much, then fine. Then if you quit paying, we'll just steal the house back. But if you get too much money, if you're too prosperous and you're not a religious Satanist, well, hey, we'll just steal your house too. That's just what they do. You have to understand who works at the government and who works at banks, okay? They have absolutely sold their soul for eternity to be in hell with Satan. That's their life, okay? They're not going to go back on their promise to Satan, okay? You have to force them to settle with you and go on to the rest of the slaves. That's my work. That's the only chance you have. You sign with God and you go against these Satanists, okay? They never have the documents, not ever. They will never, ever, ever have proof that they are collecting a debt legally. Never. Not ever. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it ever. Been doing this a decade straight. It's never happened, okay? Every debt by every bank is collected illegally. Every lender, and that's every, what do they call this? Those non-profit credit. God, why is it not coming to me? What do they call it? Anyway, those non-profit banks. Exactly the same. Any lender, payday loan, just anything you can think of, where someone has a license and they're lending money at some interest rate in America or any country that exists. If they have a license to lend money, they're doing it illegally. In other words, they don't have the paperwork, okay, to prove that they can collect from you. It will never happen. It's impossible. It's against their system they have set up to have the paperwork, okay? So whatever debt you have, whatever it is, by any bank, they are collecting it illegally from you, and you're their slave, okay? I mean, you need to understand this, okay? If they don't have the original, they're collecting a debt illegally, so fine. I'll give you here's an original dollar then. Just go, you like copies? Go make copies. Great. Want a $100 bill? Great. Go make copies. Bring me back the original. Okay. You see? It's so simple. It's logic. Okay, their system is based on lies, and you've accepted them. At what point are you going to not accept their lies anymore, right? And live in truth. It's up to you. Okay. Yes, all of them. Yes, they're all getting together to do this. Governments are a hoax, okay? They're all working for the same individual God, Satan. Every country on earth, every government employee, actually everyone in every religion is too, and every bank. Without exception, not a single exception to any of them, okay? Only when they quit and move on to God can they, ask forgiveness for their sins, and then will God forgive them, and then they can come to God. But not when they're a religious lying Satanist collecting illegal debt. And that's I want you to hear this, bankers. Really, I know some of you listen. Every banker, right? Every single one, every government employee, and everyone in every religion, okay? Everything you do is purely for Satan. Why would you need a religion? You have a creator, okay? That's it. You have a direct relationship. You don't need anyone in between it. You shouldn't have anyone in between it. Period. That's done with religion, okay? All right, truth. That's what we do here. Truth brings us to God. Naja, yoga. Become a Nayani, right? A follower of truth. All right. This has been asked so many times. I really need something that really brings it home to people. So it's not about trying to make a long video or something. I just need you to understand this, people. Okay, please. Okay, and all this fervor over I appreciate the question, Linda, and this isn't all meant for you, of course. It was just a great question I've heard a lot of times. Thank you for asking it again. Thank you for going to court. Thank you for fighting against these bankers. Thank you for being a brave woman. You're super brave. Love your emails, and God is watching, and you are obviously one of the absolute very few people out here, living in truth, standing in truth, and walking with God. So I love, hearing from you. So keep up the great work. Thank you, Lynn. God bless your success.